You're listening to the Limitless Broadcasting Network.
What's your favorite scary movie?
What's the Boogeyman?
You hang up on me again, I'll cut you like a fish, understand?
It's showtime.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to You Can't Kill the Boogeyman podcast, day 3 of Indy PopCon, and today we have a special guest with us. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi there, my name is DJF Heroes on most of my handles, but I also post more to my Instagram through Dylan J. Floor.
Okay.
But, hey, DJF Heroes is where we're at.
So let's start. So what kind of a DJ are you? Like you spin records?
So DJF Heroes is actually just my initials because I actually cosplay for kids' birthday parties. So I'm a hero for rent.
How did you get into cosplay?
So cosplaying I got into just because of the love of Marvel and DC movies and everything like that. The video games got me in, just seeing all the artwork and everything. Then my grandma actually convinced me to help them out at their lake lot to do a kid's birthday event.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I can help you set something up real quick. They gave me $100 to front my first Captain America costume, and it's been history since.
That's pretty cool. So you build all your own costumes?
For the most part, I like to say I closet cosplay. So I take things from my own wardrobe, see if I can modify them to anything that I can get into another cosplay. If not, I'll go to Amazon, get something close, and then modify.
So, okay, let's back up. So your first one was Captain America. Why Captain America?
It was just a good character. So at the time, it was 2016. So we're what movies were we at that time?
Civil War, all that.
Yeah,
Iron Man.
That time frame. So Captain America was just a big name at the time, and everyone would recognize it. Plus, it was one of the easier things I could set up under $100.
Yeah. So I actually saw you at Indiana Comic-Con and at PopCon. You've been walking around each day. You're in a different outfit.
That is very true.
How do you pick your outfits?
So
your cosplay, I should say.
Most of the time, honestly, that's a good question, because I do volunteer up in Elkhart with the Hall of Heroes, and they are a local museum over comic book history.
Okay.
So they do events around every holiday. So every month I kind of have something planned up for them.
Okay.
So it's basically whatever I have in rotation at the time is what I use for cosplay. Last con I went to, Indiana Comic-Con, we had the Pyramid Head, which I made originally for their Halloween event.
Okay.
But we got rained out, and that costume would not last in the rain, unfortunately.
Gotcha. Did you do the Comic-Con or cosplay contest last night?
Unfortunately, I did not. I always forget everyone has a deadline.
Gotcha.
So I just missed the deadline by one day on this last one because of my 3D printer X-axis belt breaking on me.
Okay, so we're going to get into 3D printing. So when you say, okay, I'm going to do this character, how does the process go?
So as of right now, I just got this 3D printer about a few months ago, so I'm learning everything right now.
Okay.
A lot of the points right now, I'm going for any STL files that I can find on Thingiverse, Etsy, what is it?
So you have to get
3D.
You have to get the files first.
Yes.
And then upload them.
Yes, because I am in the process of learning using tools like Blender, CapCut, and other things like that to try to figure out my own modeling.
Gotcha.
So that's a step in the future.
Okay, so you get this, so you get the files. What kind of stuff do you print?
So my biggest project that I just finished was a 2.5-month project, was a Red Ronin, which is a variant of the Red Hood from DC Comics.
Okay.
And if you know the term Ronin, it normally means a samurai who's lost its master or anything like that. So
is this from Ninja Turtles? The last Ronin?
I think that would be a great place where it came from, but I think it is part of the Japanese tradition.
Okay.
But I don't know the history that well.
Gotcha.
That's something I do want to dive into.
Okay.
Because I know there are a few animes that are based off like Ronin style.
Right.
So I think it's just the loss of a sensei or something like that.
Gotcha.
And going rogue.
Gotcha. Anyway, keep going.
So that 2.5 month print, it's just a slow process. It's mostly waiting.
Okay.
A lot of waiting because, say, the gauntlet pieces that I was wearing for the Red Ronin, those each took 2 days to print.
So that was the outfit yesterday.
That was the outfit yesterday.
I thought your outfit was cool. I never knew what it was, actually. I just thought you were Superman. Or Batman, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all good. It is a variant art that's just been roaming the internet for multiple years now, so it's not anything that's in any continuity yet, but I believe the guy who did do the art is one of the main artists for the comics.
Okay.
So hopefully something like that does come around.
Okay. Where are you based out of?
So I'm from northern Indiana, right at the state line, so about an hour away from Notre Dame.
So this is a drive for you.
A good 3-hour drive for me, yep.
I'm coming from Florida.
Ooh.
I went to Ball State and everything, so
Okay.
Indiana is home.
Yeah, about to say, I actually went to IUQUI.
I went there for a hot second, and then I was like, I'm going to transfer back to Ball State. So I went there for like a semester, and I was like, a lot of my credits didn't transfer, and I was like, I don't want. They were like,
worse.
oh, it's going to take you 3 years to graduate, and Ball State was like, oh, you can graduate in a year, and I was like, well,
let's do that. That's
clearly we're going back to Ball State. So, how is Notre Dame being up there?
I mean, it is a very different area than around here, that is for sure, because it's also a very industrial part of the state.
Yeah.
Because I am a factory worker myself,
Okay.
so anytime that I get on this is at random hours of the day,
Gotcha.
at the least amount of energy, just waiting.
Have you ever tried to get on a con as a guest?
That is my goals and plans, because I have now been doing this for about 7 years now. So I'll show you my Instagram later.
I'm going to follow you. After this interview,
Yeah.
we're going to follow each other.
But you'll see there's a progress photo from my first con, which was Indiana Comic-Con back in 2016?
Okay.
Yeah, 2016, where I did my first Red Hood experience. Fun story about that one. I ordered a helmet from somebody else because this was before I got the printer and everything like that. With that, the helmet was actually in Indy the day of the con, but I couldn't pick it up because it wasn't the destination.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, I will run to any store that you need me to go to just to pick this up as long as I can verify. They're like, oh, sorry, but it's not its destination.
Gotcha.
I'm like,
so, the first day of the con, what were you this weekend?
so the first day of the con, I was a gender bend of Harley Quinn. Like I like to call him Charlie Quinn.
Okay. Yesterday, you were the Red Hood.
Red Hood, Red Ronin, yep.
Okay. What are you today?
And then today we have the Iceberg Lounge version of Red Hood.
Okay, so let me see you.
So
So for the video, we want to be able to see you put it on.
So we got just this mask and
Go ahead and look in camera.
so we just got the basic mask and a suit because this is what the point of where Jason Todd took over the Iceberg Lounge from Penguin.
Okay. So let me ask you, you're a big Batman fan, correct?
I am a big Bat Family fan.
When, Robin, I should say, he has that little mask over, and Batgirl, he has that little mask over. Do you really think that would conceal your identity?
I mean, granted, some people don't recognize me once I put glasses on because I rarely wear my glasses.
Gotcha.
So that whole double identity thing, I can kind of believe, but it's a stretch.
If you're watching the news and you're like, who is this masked assailant? And you're like, how could that not be Bruce Wayne? How can it fool people for so long?
See, Bruce Wayne is a little bit more acceptable because it's just the mouth that you see and maybe the eyes. Those are features that a lot of people can have easily.
Right.
But full faceless like Clark Kent, Superman.
Right.
That's a hard time believing.
Let me just put on some glasses and
change
fool
my hair a
everybody.
little bit.
Who's your favorite DC character?
So my favorite DC character, I had to say it is Jason Todd, Red Hood.
Okay. What is his powers? What does he do?
Technically, he has no powers because he is part of the Bat Family.
Okay.
He was found stealing the wheels off the Batmobile initially.
Really? I don't know
sir.
anything about this character. Tell me.
Oh.
Knowledge me. Give me an exclusive.
So, Jason Todd, there is a lot of stories with him. A lot of controversy, too.
Okay.
He was the second Robin to replace Dick Grayson, the original, who became Nightwing.
Okay.
copy and paste. He was a dick to begin with.
Okay.
Then they started making him more edgy and everything like that, to a point where DC Comics actually had a phone call poll to see whether if Jason lived or died.
Okay.
And something I found on the internet, that apparently someone rigged a line to call the kill line. So,
Okay.
at one point in time, the Joker beat Jason Todd to death with a crowbar.
Wow.
And blew up a building to get rid of him.
Wow.
And that was the Death of the Family comics. But
Okay.
if you watch Batman Under the Red Hood, which is the thing that really got me into the character,
Okay.
Red Hood was played by Jensen Ackles,
Okay.
and he did an amazing job. And him now reprising Batman since Kevin Conroy passed, unfortunately.
Okay.
So I think it's a good step.
Let me ask you, there is a DC show on Max.
Okay.
Do you watch that?
So
I forget the name of it, but it
I'm
has
assuming you're talking about Titans.
Titans, yes.
I have not yet.
It's
I
the
have
live
been-
action of them.
Yes. I have been so behind on pulp culture where anything that I do is kind of outdated by 10 years. But hey, we're slowly making it forward. I'm slowly binging again, kind of
Okay.
getting back into the culture.
Like, it had Robin, and then I guess Batman in Titans is a vigilante,
Yep, that would make sense.
and the Robin tries to bring. I'm gonna spoil some of it.
I've kind of seen, because it's been around for long enough where it's hard to avoid spoilers.
Gotcha.
Let's be real here.
Robin tries to bring the police to Bruce Wayne's house to arrest them, and he like kills all of them. It's crazy. I was like, wow.
I mean, that's definitely a dark interpretation. I'll have to give it a watch.
I mean, I left off. I need to actually get. I've been so busy. I do multiple cons. I produce 7 podcast shows.
Ooh, there.
And multiple cons as well. We actually, for our subscription service, so we have 6 shows on our free side. We put advertising in and everything like that. But for our subscription service, we are actually launching our own comic book one.
Ooh, okay.
So I'm very excited. We have it. We haven't figured out all the details yet. But I think you'll like that.
I'll have to give it a check out for sure.
So where do people find you?
So the best place to find me, honestly, at this point is on my Instagram. I'm trying to get back onto Twitch, but with me 3D printing, that's kind of hyper-focused me for a second. So I think this is also one of my last cons of the year, as I planned as of now. So it might be going back into the Twitch side at DJF Heroes.
Do you go to horror cons at all?
I haven't yet, but it's something I do want to get into.
So there is a new horror con, not new. It's going to be Days of the Dead, Indianapolis. It's July 5th through the 6th.
Okay.
It's going to be off of Emerson Avenue.
Okay.
You should definitely check that out. We will be vending there.
Oh, nice.
And so every con I go to, I do all the designing work and everything for the shirts.
Yeah.
So we try to release a different shirt, a different design. So that my first con, my wife looked at me like, "Oh, we're gonna do this because we help promote the network and everything." I had 3 designs and a podcasting equipment, and from there we just skyrocketed.
Okay.
So it would definitely be cool to see you there walking around. I think all your attire and cosplay would work well there.
Oh, most definitely.
So when I get your information,
is with the pyramid head there.
Yes.
Maybe joke.
You do the Joker?
I do the Joker.
Can you do the voice and everything? Why so serious?
So with the Joker, it's more of a playful thing, and you don't really want to copy anybody. It's just playing with it and just going insane.
I love it. What did you think of Heath Ledger's interpretation of it?
So, unfortunately, I don't have the greatest memory of that movie, but he really dove into it for sure. That's probably one of the biggest things that got Joker really into mainstream, I'd have to say.
Yeah. Go back to your Instagram. Say it so people can follow you.
So I have 2 Instagrams. One's a business account, which is DJF Heroes, and Heroes is spelled Heros because it is one man with multiple heroes. It's possessive, not the plural ES. And then Dylan J. Floor, and that spelling is DYLANJAYFLOOR.
Gotcha. On your Instagram, do you actually tape how you do the 3D printing or anything like that?
Not quite yet. I haven't posted anything like that, but I have it saved off of my Snapchat, things like
Gotcha.
that. So I need to do some editing to get a nice compilation video going.
Gotcha. So I was going to ask you what's your next con, but you're not. You're going to take a break.
As of now, but my main 3 cons that I go to for the last 3 years or so have been the Hall of Heroes Comic-Con, which is a local Comic-Con, which, as I said earlier, was the museum that I helped volunteer with.
Right.
They're up in Elkhart. I go to Indiana Comic-Con and Indy PopCon.
Okay. Why those ones?
Mostly because those were the first ones I kind of found, and a lot of my friends that also cosplay.
Oh, let's take a slight break.
God, is that you?
Exact. That's the joke I use. God.
Dad?
All right. So let's back up. Why do you pick those 3 Comic-Cons?
As of now, it's mostly because of affordability for myself. Also, a lot of my friends come to these ones. C2E2 is one that I want to go to just because of location, because 3-hour drive is not the worst either way.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's mostly just because of availability and affordability.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because yeah, a lot of times I do come to these cons by myself and just walk.
Well, you've really impressed me because every time you're very personal, number one. I can come up and say what's up, and you're willing to talk to me about your outfit.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been in the media industry, always done everything. I joke around I should have been a doctor. It would have been a lot less of a hustle.
Yeah.
But I've worked for mainstream production companies, mom and pop ones, but I've always wanted to own my own network.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here. And everything we make from here goes right back into the network.
Yeah.
And you're just very cool to be around. You give a good aura, I should say.
I appreciate that.
So, do you have any brothers or sisters or anything?
I do have an older half sister, but our time was separated because she was with her mom all the time. So I saw her maybe twice a month.
Is she into cosplay at all?
She's actually the one who got me into anime.
Okay.
She lives actually not too far from here. I believe she lives in Carmel now.
Okay. So you're into anime. Can you explain it to me? What's the deal with it?
So anime is just a form to display anything. Let's be real here, because you can find stories for any little niche you have.
Yeah.
I'm personally a shonen guy myself because that's what got me in. My first anime was Bleach.
Okay.
Johnny Young Bosch. I met him last year at the Hall of Heroes Comic-Con. Sweetest guy ever.
Okay.
It's also, you get a lot of stories, a lot of development, so many outside stories you wouldn't get or experiences as an only child.
Gotcha.
So that was a big thing for me.
Do you like the anime with subtitles?
So the subtitles definitely help me. I'm more of a dub person when I watch because of the ADHD.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
I can't always focus on the screen. That's my hard part. But if there's something I really love, say Bleach 1000 War, I will watch that sub when it's coming out, and I'll watch it dub when it releases then too.
Gotcha.
I will watch it 2-3 times.
Gotcha. See, my problem is when I'm watching anime, I don't want to read the screen.
Yeah.
I'm there to be entertained, not have to read, and that's why I haven't been able to get it. I'm dyslexic too, so I'm just
that
like
makes it a little bit
pause,
more challenge.
You know when you're watching a movie and they put the subtitles on there, or on the screen,
out of sync of everything,
and you're just like, oh man, now I have to pause it and actually read what's on the screen. Mm-hmm. Doing that for anime, I'd be like, oh man, I'd have to pause every single screen.
Especially in the middle of a fight scene when they're talking back and forth.
Right. What's your favorite comic?
So, the comic lines that I have the most of are, of course, Red Hood.
Right.
Red Hood is my baby.
Your jam?
He is. Jason Todd, he's a little bit misunderstood, and he had a great redemption arc. He went from full-on villain to anti-hero to back in the graces of the Bat family.
Gotcha. And do they claim him now?
He is fully claimed.
Gotcha. And he knows, like, Bruce Wayne and everything like that?
Mm-hmm. But he still likes to stay on the lone wolf side.
Is he a millionaire, too? Or does Batman fund him?
I believe he technically is, because with him stealing the Iceberg Lounge and other assets like that, because he will take the more villainous route from time to time, and that's probably how he got a lot of his assets to begin with.
Okay. How about Robin? Is he...
Which Robin are you talking about?
You knowledge me here. Knowledge me.
I think there's now canonically 6 because they've added a new one. But the main ones that I've known for the longest time were Dick, Jason, Tim, and then Damien. And I know
Gotcha.
Steph Brown was one of the ones that were considered because she only had maybe like 1 or 2 appearances before she changed her character.
Gotcha. So we are back from that commercial break. So we were talking about the Ronin being a millionaire and everything like that. So,
Yes.
and then we were talking about Robin. Which Robin is your favorite?
So they all have different aspects that I love about them.
Okay.
Dick, he was a good first Robin. He helped balance out Batman to begin with. Jason took the more aggressive side and showed off the edgier parts of the life of Batman.
Gotcha.
Which I fell in love with. Then you got Tim, who just was outsmarting Bruce himself.
How many Robins have there been? 3?
So we got Dick, who was the first one, which was a trapeze guy.
Okay.
We got
That's when
Jason.
all of his families died. That's the one I'm familiar
Yeah,
with.
that's the main first one that you see start up the Titans and become Nightwing. And
Okay.
you got Jason, who was basically one step away from being a regular old crook, and Batman was trying to save him.
Gotcha.
Then Tim found out that Jason was dead, and he realized Batman wasn't being Batman anymore. So he's like, okay, let me try to save Batman. He figured out who he was.
Gotcha.
Off of a Grayson, like seeing the original Robin do something from the Flying Graysons.
Gotcha.
That's how Tim found out. Then he got Damien, who is actually Bruce's son.
I didn't know Bruce had a son. That's news to me.
He hooked up with Talia al Ghul, or Ra's al Ghul's daughter.
Well, that's good. He's a billionaire. At least he had some time to do some
I
things.
mean, he had time for a lot of people, let's be real. You know?
Right.
Him and Selena, you know.
So they actually hooked up, him and Selena.
I believe in the comics they have been married.
That's the Catwoman.
That's Catwoman.
Okay.
And there was a point in time where there was the Huntress from more of the Green Arrow world, you know.
Man, Bruce is a whore.
Hey, if you got that money.
You're right. What is your favorite Batman film?
So my
In
live action or animated?
Well, we're gonna go live action.
So personally, I haven't seen anything of Ben Affleck yet, so
Okay.
I can't say anything of him. I guess, even though Michael Keaton's not my favorite Batman, I think it has to be one of his movies.
Okay.
I just think the tone of the movies fit right.
Gotcha. Did you see the Flash movie?
Yes, I have.
What did you think of him being in the Flash?
I really loved it. When they announced Michael Keaton was coming back, I was really hoping for a Batman Beyond storyline.
Gotcha.
Where you have Old Man Bruce, and then we bring in Terry McGinnis.
Gotcha.
And if you don't know about Terry McGinnis,
I don't.
he's a basically clone of Bruce for the most part.
Gotcha.
Basically, some DNA sample was stolen from Bruce and put into his father. So when he had a baby, it wasn't his own DNA.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
DC has some weird times.
I can talk to you for hours about this.
I can talk about anything. for
I'm
hours.
definitely going to want to have you back on. Would you like to be? I know we're at PopCon, and this is kind of a smaller interview, but I would love to have you back on. Are you into that?
Yeah. Even if it's an online portion.
Yeah, we're going to have to do a Zoom one.
Yeah.
But definitely. My last question to you, since we are a horror pod, what is your favorite scary movie?
So personally, I've always liked the Jason movies. Freddy vs. Jason, I think, was one of the biggest horror films that really got me going into the series.
So before this last commercial break, I asked you, since this is a horror pod, what is your favorite scary movie?
So I definitely say Freddy vs. Jason was one of the biggest ones to get me into it. I haven't had much jump scares basically since then. One movie that made me cringe physically was when it was in The Orphan, where she broke her arm in the garage.
Yeah.
That was the last thing to get me to like physically flinch.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like Chucky, things like that were things from my childhood that my cousin would use to scare the living crap out of me.
I can see there's a lot of horror cons in Florida that I think you should come to. I'm definitely going to get your information offline.
So you send me the information, I'll look into it.
There's a couple opportunities I actually want to talk to you about as well. So, yeah, I've really enjoyed our time. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
You're going to have to listen to the show and become a fan of the network. One more time, where can people find you on Instagram and
So on
Snapchat?
Instagram and everything like that, and Twitch, DJF Heroes, DJF HEROS, or Dylan J Floor on Instagram, which that is DYLANJAYFLOOR.
Awesome. Well, you guys, hopefully you enjoyed this episode as much as I have enjoyed speaking with him. You guys stay spooky out there. Thank you. We'll see you in the next one.
You Can't Kill the Boogeyman podcast is produced and hosted by Robbie and Sammy Brooksby as part of the Limitless Broadcasting Podcast Network. Post-production and intro by Sammy Brooksby. Follow the show on Instagram at BoogeymanPod. You can also follow the Limitless Broadcasting Company at Limitless Broadcasting and your horror hosts at Robert 1950 Studios and at The Samalam. We also have a TikTok at 1950 Studios. Email your creepy comments and spooky suggestions to us at boogeymanpod@gmail.com. Don't forget, everyone is entitled to one good scare. Have a horrific week.